I told my pregnant sister-in-law she's not welcome at my child's first birthday after she announced her pregnancy at my baby shower, gender reveal, and wedding. Now my brother says I'm being petty. I, 28F, have been dealing with my attention-seeking sil Sarah, 32F, for the past 2 years, and I finally reached my breaking point. Some background: I met my husband Jake, 29M, during our sophomore year of college. We were both studying engineering, and he literally ran into me at the library while carrying a stack of textbooks. It was like something out of a rom-com, and we've been inseparable ever since. My brother Mike, 33M, introduced Sarah to our family when I was still in high school. Even back then, there were signs of her attention-seeking behavior, but nobody wanted to acknowledge it because Mike was finally happy. The first major incident happened during my college graduation. I had just received my engineering degree with honors, and during the family dinner celebration, Sarah announced their engagement. She hadn't even waited for dessert. Right after my dad finished his speech about how proud he was of me, she stood up and flashed her ring. My mother later told me she had actually gotten engaged 2 weeks prior but wanted to wait for the right moment to tell everyone. Fast forward to their wedding, where I was guilted into being a bridesmaid despite my reservations. Sarah changed the bridesmaid dress color 3 times, ultimately choosing a highly unflattering shade that she knew wouldn't suit anyone else's complexion. During her reception speech, she made several backhanded comments about how she hoped she'd have better luck with marriage than her parents, who had recently divorced, and my parents, who had gone through a rough patch but worked things out. When Jake proposed to me a year later, Sarah's first response was to announce they were trying for a baby. She even gave me unsolicited advice about how I should postpone wedding planning because you wouldn't want to be a pregnant bride like I'm planning to be. Spoiler alert, she wasn't even pregnant yet. The wedding incident was even worse than I initially described. We had hired a professional photographer and videographer to capture our special day. During Sarah's pregnancy announcement, she actually called a photographer over to capture everyone's reactions, effectively hijacking our paid services. The videographer later asked if we wanted that part edited out of our wedding video, but we decided to keep it as a reminder of her behavior. The 6 months between our wedding and my pregnancy announcement were filled with Sarah's constant updates about her fertility journey. Every family dinner, every holiday, every casual get-together became about her attempts to conceive. When she finally did get pregnant, she insisted on having a gender reveal party just 2 weeks before ours, even though she was barely past her first appointment. At our gender reveal party, the situation was more dramatic than I initially explained. We had hired a local bakery to create a beautiful cake with either pink or blue filling. Right before we were about to cut it, Sarah started feeling faint and needed everyone's attention. After causing a scene and having everyone fuss over her for 20 minutes, she announced her pregnancy. She had even prepared gift bags with big sister shirts for her daughter and baby number 2 onesies, which she distributed to everyone present. The baby shower incident was possibly the worst. My mom and best friend had spent weeks planning it, with a beautiful once-upon-a-time theme since I've always loved fairy tales. They had arranged for a professional storyteller to come and read classic children's stories, and each guest was supposed to bring a book to help build the baby's library. Sarah showed up late, interrupting the storyteller, and insisted on reading her own special story, which turned out to be a poorly written poem about her pregnancy journey that ended with her current pregnancy announcement. During my actual pregnancy, Sarah's competitive behavior reached new heights. When I posted my first ultrasound photo on our family group chat, she immediately posted 3 from her previous pregnancies. When I shared that we were having a girl, she started telling everyone she had a feeling she was having a girl too. She later had a boy. She even tried to convince my mother-in-law to throw her a sprinkle baby shower for a subsequent child, on the same day as my shower, claiming it would be more efficient for the family. The delivery room drama deserves its own paragraph. Despite clear instructions about who we wanted present during labor, Sarah somehow convinced a nurse she was my sister and tried to come in during active labor. Thankfully, Jake caught her before she made it into the room. She later claimed she just wanted to support me, but we found out she had her phone ready to live stream the birth to her mommy blog followers. After Lily was born, Sarah's behavior became even more obsessive. She would constantly compare our baby's developments, going so far as to create a spreadsheet tracking their milestones. When Lily rolled over first, Sarah insisted her son was actually doing pre-rolling movements that were more advanced. When Lily said her first word at 6 months, Sarah posted a video of her son making random sounds, claiming he was speaking in his own special language. The joint birthday party suggestion wasn't just a casual mention, she had already created a Facebook event and invited family members before even discussing it with us. The theme she chose? 2 peas in a pod, completely ignoring the fact that our children were born 2 months apart and have totally different interests. When I declined, she tried to schedule her son's party for the same day as Lily's, claiming it was the only date that worked for everyone. Recent incidents that pushed me over the edge. She created an Instagram account for her son and keeps tagging Lily in posts comparing their development. She showed up uninvited to Lily's 6-month photo session, insisting on taking cousin pictures. She tried to convince our parents to buy matching Christmas outfits for the kids, then threw a fit when we declined. She registered her son for the same mommy and me classes as Lily, even though they're in different age groups. She constantly refers to herself as Lily's bonus mommy on social media. The final straw came last week. Sarah announced her 3rd pregnancy during a family dinner, which fine, at least it was her own event. But then she started talking about how she's due right around Lily's birthday and wouldn't it be magical if she gave birth on the same day? She even suggested having the hospital send a birthday cake to Lily's party if she's in labor that day. That's when I snapped and told her she wasn't welcome at the birthday party. The conversation went something like this. Me, Sarah, after careful consideration, I don't think it's a good idea for you to attend Lily's birthday party. Sarah, what? But we're family. And, her son, needs to be there for his cousin. Me, I'm sorry, but given your history of making every event about yourself, I can't trust that you won't try to make this day about your pregnancy or her son. Sarah, how dare you? I would never. I can't believe you're being so selfish. Don't you want our children to be close? Me, our children can be close without you turning every milestone into a competition. This is Lily's day, and for once, I want it to be just about her. Sarah burst into tears and ran out of the room, calling Mike on her way out. Within minutes, my phone was blowing up with angry messages from family members. Mike called me selfish, entitled, and jealous of his perfect family. Our extended family is divided, with some understanding my position and others claiming I'm tearing the family apart. More context about the family dynamics. My parents had fertility struggles before having me and Mike, which makes them particularly sensitive to anything pregnancy-related. Mike and Sarah started dating in high school, and he's never really dated anyone else. Sarah's parents' divorce was extremely messy, and she's admitted to having abandonment issues. Our extended family has a history of taking sides and holding grudges for years. Jake's family has witnessed all this drama but tries to stay neutral for everyone's sake. The situation has gotten even more complicated since my last update. Sarah has started a blog series about family estrangement and pregnancy trauma. Sent several passive-aggressive gifts to Lily, all themed around forgiveness and family unity. Convinced some family members to plan an alternative celebration on the same day as Lily's party. Posted daily countdown updates about both her pregnancy and the days until Lily's birthday, always linking them together. Started referring to her unborn baby as Lily's spiritual twin despite the nearly 1-year age difference. I've received countless messages from family members, ranging from understanding support to vicious accusations. Some highlights. My aunt suggested I'm suffering from postpartum depression and taking it out on Sarah. My cousin, who's a family therapist, offered to mediate, but admitted off the record that Sarah's behavior is concerning. Jake's sister fully supports our decision and shared similar stories from Sarah's interactions with her children. My grandmother threatened to change her will if we don't make things right. Several distant relatives I haven't spoken to in years suddenly have very strong opinions about my parenting decisions. Update on the party planning. We've decided to move forward with our original plans, but with some modifications. Hired professional security, not just our friend, to manage the guest list. Change the venue to a private location that only invited guests will know about. Asked our photographer to refrain from posting any photos until after the event. Created a strict no social media policy for all guests. Planned several special moments that are just about Lily, including a beautiful video montage of her first year. The party was yesterday, and it was everything we hoped for. Lily had an amazing time and wasn't overwhelmed by drama or competition. The Winnie the Pooh theme was perfect, and she loved her smash cake. Several family members who initially sided with Sarah attended and apologized. Jake's family went above and beyond to make the day special. My parents, while sad about the situation, agreed that the peaceful celebration was worth it. We got beautiful photos and videos of genuine, happy moments. The aftermath. Sarah posted a tearful Instagram live during the party, talking about missing milestone moments. Mike sent a gift but included a letter about how we're damaging the cousin bond. Some family members are still giving us the cold shoulder. Others have privately reached out to share similar experiences with Sarah. My mom is slowly starting to acknowledge that maybe Sarah needs professional help. Lessons learned. 1. Setting boundaries is hard but necessary. 2. Not every family event needs to include everyone. 3. It's okay to prioritize your child's happiness over family politics. 4. Sometimes being the bad guy is worth it for your peace of mind. 5. Documentation is important. Save those texts, emails, and social media posts. 6. Having a supportive partner makes all the difference. 7. Sometimes the family you choose is more understanding than the family you're born into. Moving forward. We're maintaining our boundaries but leaving the door open for change. Sarah is welcome to attend future events if she can respect our rules. We're focusing on building positive relationships with family members who respect our decisions. Jake and I are in agreement about protecting Lily from toxic dynamics. We're documenting everything in case the situation escalates further. Final thoughts. While this has been an incredibly stressful situation, it's also been clarifying. We know who truly supports us and who's willing to enable toxic behavior. Lily will grow up knowing that it's okay to set boundaries and that she doesn't have to compete for love or attention. Thank you all for the support and advice. Special thanks to those who shared similar stories. It helps to know we're not alone in dealing with family drama. Edit 5. Thank you for all the awards and kind messages. To those asking about legal advice, we're documenting everything but hoping it doesn't come to that. Edit 6. Several people have asked about Mike's behavior before Sarah. He was actually a pretty great brother until he started dating her in high school. It's been sad watching him enable her increasingly problematic behavior. Edit 7. For those asking about the security measures, yes, we really did have to hire professional security. Sarah has a history of showing up uninvited to events she's been explicitly asked not to attend. Edit 8. The alternative celebration Sarah planned ended up being poorly attended, and she's now claiming she's too sick with morning sickness to have hosted it anyway. It's been 6 months since my original post, and wow, what a journey. I know many of you have been messaging me for updates, so here's everything that's happened since Lily's birthday party. The immediate aftermath of the party was pretty much what we expected. Sarah posted a series of tearful Instagram stories about family betrayal and the importance of forgiveness. She even went as far as to create a highlight reel called Healing Journey where she documents her pregnancy while making subtle, and not so subtle, digs at our situation. The real turning point came about 2 weeks after the party when she experienced some pregnancy complications. I know this might make me sound heartless, but those complications turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Her doctor ordered her to reduce stress and stay off social media, which meant she finally had to stop obsessing over our situation. She was put on bed rest, and surprisingly, this forced break from her usual antics led to some unexpected developments. My brother Mike came to see me while Sarah was staying with her mom during this period. It was the first time we'd really talked one-on-one since the party drama. He broke down and admitted that he's been enabling Sarah's behavior for years because he's afraid of losing her. Apparently, she had threatened divorce several times in the past when he tried to stand up to her, using their children as leverage. We spent hours talking about our childhood and how much our relationship has changed since he met Sarah. It was emotional, but productive. The really shocking part came when Mike revealed that Sarah's mom had reached out to him with concerns. Turns out Sarah's attention-seeking behavior had been an issue long before she met our family. She was hospitalized for anxiety in her teens after her parents' divorce, but never completed the recommended therapy. Her mom feels guilty for not pushing harder for treatment and has offered to pay for family counseling. Speaking of family, remember my grandmother who threatened to change her will? She came to visit last month and finally saw firsthand how Sarah operates. It happened during a small family dinner where Sarah, now off bed rest, showed up uninvited. She immediately launched into a detailed description of her pregnancy complications, complete with graphic medical details, while everyone was eating. When my grandmother tried to change the subject to my cousin's recent engagement, Sarah burst into tears and accused everyone of not caring about her baby's health. My grandmother pulled me aside afterward and apologized for not believing me sooner. The real breakthrough came during Thanksgiving. We decided to host this year, and made it clear that everyone was welcome under certain conditions: no pregnancy announcements, no competition between the kids, and no drama. Sarah initially declined to come, but Mike convinced her to give it a try. To everyone's surprise, she actually behaved herself. Yes, there were a few moments where she tried to steer conversations toward her pregnancy, but Mike would gently redirect her, and she seemed to respond well to his guidance. The biggest change has been in how we handle family gatherings now. We've implemented what we call the milestone rule: whoever's milestone is being celebrated gets to be the center of attention, no exceptions. Even my mom, who was initially trying to keep the peace at any cost, has started enforcing this rule. Last week at my cousin's engagement party, when Sarah started talking about her nursery plans, my mom actually spoke up and reminded her it wasn't the time or place. The look of shock on Sarah's face was priceless. As for Lily, she's thriving. Without the constant comparison to her cousin, she's becoming her own person. She's walking now and has quite the vocabulary, mostly consisting of no and mine, but hey, she's a toddler. We've started doing monthly playdates with her cousin at neutral locations, supervised by Jake's sister who acts as a buffer. It's actually working out pretty well, and the kids genuinely enjoy playing together when there's no pressure to perform or compete. The most recent development came just last week. Sarah's doctor recommended she see a therapist to manage her anxiety about the pregnancy, and surprisingly, she agreed. She's only had 2 sessions, but Mike says she's starting to recognize some patterns in her behavior. She even sent me a text, which I suspect was encouraged by her therapist, acknowledging that her past actions at our events were inappropriate. While I appreciate the gesture, I'm cautiously optimistic at best. Some updates on other family members. My aunt, who suggested I had postpartum depression, has done a complete 180 degrees and now tells everyone who will listen about the importance of boundaries. My cousin, the family therapist, has been invaluable in helping us navigate family gatherings. Jake's family has remained consistently supportive, and his mom has become my biggest advocate in family situations. Looking ahead, Sarah is due in 3 months. We've already had discussions about hospital visits and birth announcements. She's agreed to let Mike handle all family communications and social media posts, which feels like huge progress. We've also made it clear that while we're happy to celebrate the new baby, we'll be doing so on our own terms, without comparing the children or forcing relationships. The hardest part of this whole experience has been accepting that some relationships may never be the same. Several family members are still convinced I'm the villain in this story, and you know what? I'm okay with that. My priority is creating a healthy environment for Lily, even if that means some people don't understand or agree with our choices. For those wondering about the spiritual twin posts, Sarah has finally stopped using that phrase after her therapist explained why it was inappropriate. She's now referring to her baby as the newest cousin, which, while still a bit extra, is at least age-appropriate and accurate. I've learned so much from this experience and from all of your comments and messages. The biggest lesson has been that setting boundaries isn't cruel, it's necessary for healthy relationships. We're still navigating this new normal, but for the first time in years, family gatherings don't fill me with dread. To everyone who supported me through this journey, thank you. Your stories, advice, and validation helped me stay strong when I was questioning myself. Special thanks to the Reddit community for showing me I wasn't crazy for wanting basic respect and boundaries. P.S. To the person who suggested I start documenting everything in a shared drive with timestamps, you're a genius. Having that record has been invaluable in preventing gaslighting and revisionist history. Lily's new favorite word is boundaries, though she pronounces it more like Bo Reese. I'd like to think that's a sign we're doing something right.